with a subject that is kind of sad, but it's called slavery. Okay. And then, excuse me. And then backwards you go from turkeys to cocoa and beans and all of that to Europe and the rest. Okay. There is this in the web, and you can get it in the web, and you kind of touch anything here you like, and it'll begin telling you stories about it. Okay. And there's, somebody put a lot of work on this in the New and Old World crops. I'll give you a summary. Beverages and stimulants. Coffee, tea, opium, cat, betel nuts, marijuana. You can put more, but that's enough. In the New World, you got cocoa, amati, Joe Pond, that's right here, coca, tobacco, and you can add more, but that should suffice. Cereals. We have wheat, rice, barley, oats, rye, sorghum, millet, sesame, buckwheat. All of that came from the Old World. But from the America, just this alone kind of takes care of all of that. Maize, as we will see later. And then from South America, quinoa. You can add more things, but I'm talking about things that have reverberated across the world. Some more. Go ahead.
Yeah, I ask a question. You say that these are the only things that went to the old world. Okay, that's fine. But
excuse me.
Is it true that those things from the old world did not exist? None of those existed in the new world?
Did not exist, no.
They didn't have any wheat or anything?
None. Zero. That's why it's amazing. The only cereal, so to speak, is maize, corn, that contributed, and it was a very fortunate thing. I'll go into that when we get to it, why I say that. But as far as all this collection of things, excuse me, no, they weren't here. So, very good comment, because I don't want to give the impression that everything came from the Americas and nothing but bad came from Europe. Not at all. Not at all. That's not true. Okay. Root and tuber crops. Of course, you got beets, Old World, turnips, radish, taro, rutabaga, carrots, so forth. But look again. Potato, sweet potato, cassava. These are not so common, but they are used, but not. The impact of these crops, now, there America did do very, very good for the old world. Just potatoes and sweet potato and cassava. And we'll touch on that. Legumes. They're plants that fix nitrogen from the air. And when you use them correctly, some of them, you can maintain fertility per secular, if you have the right systems. So here we go again. It's not only the crops, but the systems that were developed to plant them and maintain fertility. From the old world and from the new world. In the new world, we got lupins, and this is regular beans and peanuts. Now, lupin was in both, in North Africa and then in the Andes, okay? Nuts and oil crops. Forgive me if I am insisting on this, but it is important that we have the names and the origins of these things. We tend to confuse them. I've had people telling me that peanuts came from Africa. No. But we'll go into that. Yeah. Fruits. Look at the collection. from cherry, lychee, pineapple, papaya, cocoa, all kinds. And the New World, this is from the Amazon alone. I was down in Belém, Brazil one time, and only time I've been there, and my friends took me to the market. And you can believe me or not, there were just dozens of fruits there that I had no clue what they were. But it was obvious they were buying and trading on them. Then they took me to an ice cream place, and it was a disaster. I couldn't stop eating. You know, it was really delicious. Okay. Veggies, relatively few. Tomato and peppers. But boy, what can you do without tomatoes and peppers? Okay, so that. In fact, the idea that prevalent in Europe then, and particularly in the Mediterranean, which was the more advanced part of Europe at the time, okay, was that there was some kind of Christian kingdom in Africa, in what today we would call Ethiopia, okay? But it was the kingdom of Prester John, and this was one of the myths. But sailors believed in, even knowledgeable people believed, yeah, but Christianity is over there. That was a driver, because they wanted to get to it, to make contact with Prester John. Well, remember, most people, I mean, the overwhelming majority of people couldn't read and write. So if you tell them Prester Jones or Monkey Moon, whatever, they would say, oh, yeah, we heard that, you know. With precision, this is what they knew. There was Europe, Africa, okay, but from this on to the west, they had no clue at all. So let's go back to the beverages. And we are going to begin our discussion proper. That was just the introduction with chocolate cake. Chocolate cake. And you say, well, why on earth chocolate cake? Because of cocoa. Cocoa. Cocoa is the oldest, I stand by that, the oldest beverage developed by man, bar none. There is good evidence found, I'll go into that later, found in the ceramics and vessels that the archaeologists dig up from lands in Peru, in Bolivia, and they find in the clay silvermine. That's a key component that tells you there was cocoa here. All right? Some of that goes a couple of 1,000 years before Christ. So it's been with us. But we go back to this chocolate cake, okay? And we're going to go to Central Europe. We can argue about it. Let's go to Vienna, okay? For a while it was. And you have the ring, and there is this name. You go in there, we're going to have this, okay? We're going to have chocolate. Okay. To me, that's the epitome of civilization, that you have a place that is quiet, that you have very good eating, and you have, of course, okay, either chocolate or coffee. And Sachertorte und Kaffee mit Schlag, that's with cream, okay? Yes, you have to have that, okay? We're talking about cocoa. I repeat, cocoa precedes coffee, precedes tea by centuries. by centuries is associated with humans if you consider the Americas into it. Okay? Okay. I already told you. Cocoa. And I showed that because in that basket, see over here, there's cocoa. And over here, it's a theobroma, talking scientific. Theobroma cacao. Theos is God. Broma is the drink of the gods. Okay, no doubt about it. Theobroma is really a very small genus. There are not many species in it. They are all American. They are all American. There is no Theobroma in Asia or in Africa, certainly not in Europe. Okay. It's in the jungle, subcanopy. Subcanopy. It's not a big tree, it's subcanopy. So it needs shade and it needs the conditions of the Amazon jungle. And it's not bunched together. There's one tree here, one over there. That's the way it is, okay? I'll come back to that.
So since Africa and South America were once joined,
yeah, but that was way before this, yeah. At that time, there weren't even trees or plants. I mean, it was all in, anyway, you are correct, okay. As I mentioned, this is the genus, and those are the species. The ones that have common names, Mocambo, Cupuatsu, Cacawi, and of course cocoa, those are species that we use and have used for a long time, mostly for beverage purposes. Okay. Give you an example. This is Cupuatsu, Theobroma grandiflorum, the big flower Theobroma. And it's a small bush like that. It produces this, okay, on the trunks and the branches, not like most other plants following a flower or anything like that, you know. No. And here's the flower, grandiflorum. You can see this flower, okay? And you have this paste type thing that envelops the seeds proper, okay? All right. That's what you eat, and you make a drink out of it, okay? You do not use the seeds. Very different. This is cocoa, and this is Cupuatsu. And you notice both are hanging from the trunk or a heavy branch, okay? There's no doubt of American origin. Most of it is not produced in